I was looking to buy Bitcoin in the month of May, here is when and where I would be essentially aiming towards for this full month, looking at all of the higher term time frame statistics and fitting that into the technicals as well. So first things first, I want to bring you back to the monthly chart here, which of course we have a new open and it's all sorts of new data to be going off of. And more importantly, we are now going to go through some of these statistics. Now in yesterday's video, we went over, general win rates, general returns for both sides of May. And the traditional saying is, sell in May and go away. We find that to not necessarily be fully true for Bitcoin. Only 7 out of 14, so 50% of Mays have actually led to significant downside. That means, half the time, you were right. And to be fair, when you were right, you were massively fucking right. And on the other side, massively fucking wrong, to be fair. Now, it should be known, however, that basically all of the bull traps that exist in Bitcoin's history did occur or start essentially in May, from the May high. So if there is going to be a bull trap, May is a damn good month for that because it's literally always been that month for Bitcoin for any time that there actually has been a bull trap. And again, you're going to say, oh shit, crown, but only 3 out of 4. What? That's not 100%. It's just because the first one over here from 2011 there is no bull trap. It's just fucking straight down. It was just a nasty downside move. Anyways, yes, so I'm going to bring you over to our statistics over here. Again, for anyone who missed it yesterday, we did find that May in general has about a 57% historical probability to close positively. And the average returns for that would be on the winning side, about close to 20%. I go off the median here because the average is significantly higher. And the median loss return is about 11.5%. So again, putting that into perspective for this month, because now we do have the new monthly open. Well, to the downside, if Bitcoin were to close a negative month for May, that could potentially be, again, on average, all the way down to low 80s, about 83, 84,000 bucks. And to the upside, adding about 18%, almost 20% would put Bitcoin on new all-time highs, giving us a potential range high of like 112,000 bucks. Anyways, I want to now go over when would I be looking for the May lows to come in around. And I want to first actually go back to April and just show this data because a lot of people have been asking for does this even matter? It's like, it does matter. And you can see over here in April for positive closing months, the median of what we expect the low to come in around is the 7th day. And you know what? I believe we saw the low of April coming in very, very early at around probably the 7th day, if I had to guess. Let's just double check here. That was effectively here. That was day number 6. And of course, that was a Sunday. So effectively Monday was the low, which is literally the 7th. Anyways, back to the topic of conversation and let's go to May. And for the May, for the May lows, we did find that on average for positive closing Mays, it's really fucking early. In fact, this might be the month with the most times we've seen the low of May coming in on the first day of May. It happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times. In fact, last May of 2024 happened on the first day as well. So the average is about 5.5. The median is 3. So very early on within this month, definitely before the end of the first week. There's really only one time where we've seen it kind of come in the back half of May. That would be 2016. In fact, now that I recognize it, if you look at these halving dates, which is 2012, 2016, and 2020, these were happening a little bit later, and all the other ones were either day number 1 or, in one case, day number 5. So I would go as far to say, seeing that this is not a halving year, which I should probably highlight this one as well. Probably going to see it early on within the month. Again, if you are bullish for May, and I do think that there's good reason to be bullish for May because of the way that things closed. On the negative side, however, again, we have a weird month here where it's actually not coming in that late within the month. Usually we expect for negative closing months that the low of the month comes in, around the last week or maybe the last 10 days of the month. And that's typically what we do see. In this case, it's actually not that at all. The median is 14.5 days, which is just 2 weeks. I mean, that's basically before the midway point, and the average also very close to the midway point at just under 17 days. So, May's a weird month for that, at least in my opinion. Even if it's going to close negatively, we kind of expect the lows to come in relatively early. In fact, one of those days even coming in on the 2nd. So again, if you are bullish for May, or if you think May is just basically going to be a positive closing month, you're looking for, or I would be looking for lows to come in very, very early. within the first week, before the first week ends. So between now and next Wednesday is where I'd be, kind of focusing my energies on. Now, of course, when we go to the next question, which is where is that going to come in around, I want to reference again yesterday's statistics, which we were looking at the Bitcoin May open to low data. And if you are looking for a positive closing May, then on average, we've seen a differential between the open and the low of the month of just about 3 to 4%, which is quite low. So putting that into perspective, what would that look like subtracted from current price action? That would put Bitcoin at around 91,000 bucks. Give or take a few bucks from that number. I do think you probably see a pullback somewhere around there, to be honest, in early May, probably. Again, assuming that it's going to be a positive closing month. And then, of course, on the negative side, it can get much worse than that. Closer to 20% or even over 20%. So I don't know how relevant this is right now, but hey, if you're bearish for May, well, 20% off or more than 20% off of the open from May would literally put May below April's low. So then you got essentially almost a bearish engulfing dildo right there. That'd be massively bearish. And of course, if Bitcoin really comes down below, especially if it comes down to low 80s, below 81, 82, that would make me massively bearish. Until then, it's I have to cautiously be bullish, I suppose, although I really don't like it, to be honest. I really don't like it in this case. Anyways, let's get into the actual technicals, which can help give us an idea as well as to where to expect to pull back if you are indeed bullish. And I want to highlight here that on the monthly time frame, that red moving average, which Bitcoin likes to reconnect with on just about each and every month, and it doesn't really stray too far away from there anytime that it doesn't reconnect, is currently at just under 91,000 bucks. So that would be very much in alignment with a quote unquote bullish pullback in early May, somewhere around 91, give or take a few bucks, and should be at least expecting a short-term bounce there. And if you are bullish, that theoretically should be the low. If Bitcoin does fail below 91,000 bucks, again, on a closing basis, that's at the point where I'd say, hey, you're likely going to be looking at, somewhere around 85, 86,000 bucks. And I would actually give it a chance to bounce there as well before getting full on bearish. But one thing before the next, of course. Anyways, so shallow pullbacks in Mays if you are looking for a positive closing month. Now, here is the things that I want to address because we did not have this information yesterday, because you just literally need a new month to open, and that is higher term time frame momentum oscillators. So first, I want to acknowledge that BBWP representing volatility is extremely low. Some of the lowest levels we've ever seen ever. This really only happens once per cycle, and from there, expansion is just about guaranteed. Problem is that the direction of your momentum oscillator has a heavy correlation with the direction of price action. And as it stands right now, monthly stochastic momentum continues to the downside. The pivot did move, to be fair. It did move to just over $100,000. If you recall from yesterday, it was $106,000. So that moved down, which is, technically a good thing. But that would imply that Bitcoin really needs to close this month above 100,000 bucks to keep the Boolaw's hopes alive. Until then, if we were to see volatility expansion, downside would certainly be a lot more likely, similar to what we saw back here when volatility started to expand in April of 2022 and also in May, by the way, as well. And monthly momentum was heavily positioned to the downside. And then vice versa on the other side in 2023, where it went up and went fucking massively up during that time as well. Anyways, moving on from there, we also got the bi-monthly closure. The bi-monthly closed, pretty decently, I suppose. It didn't close poorly, at least, and eating up the essential rejection dildo that we saw from the first couple of months of 2025. And more importantly, Bitcoin did close above the bi-monthly pivot of $91,000. And that pivot over here on the bi-monthly has actually shifted down about $1,000 to $89,330, which I do think is significant. That is to say that as long as Bitcoin is basically above about 90,000 bucks, let's say, the Boolaws actually do have the ball in their court. I am still very fucking defensive here, to be honest. I think even if this market does continue, I don't think it has too much longer. But hey, as long as Bitcoin is above this pivot, this market has at least another 2 months to go, maybe 4 or 5 months even. So that brings us into the end of September, if that comes to fruition, and at least in my opinion, in the best of potential scenarios. And again, the reason why I reference this one is because anytime that we have seen I didn't want to do it like this, but anytime that we've seen the bi-monthly stochastic oscillator cross the downside, that has essentially been, hey, highs for the cycle are in and get ready for the lows to come later. These specific vertical bars are not actually correlating exactly with that, but I'll just draw your attention down here. Again, pretty much this one got the high, this one over here got the high, this one over here basically got the high, and then more importantly, this one that we're working on right now still remains the upside. So, theoretically, as long as Bitcoin's above 90,000 bucks, upside still more likely, at least for now. Anyways, on top of that, we also saw the new monthly MACD come around, and it is still contracting, to be fair. It's not a lot, but it is contracting here. Again, this makes me very fucking defensive against this market. Putting in a high, I really do think within the next 5 months at most, probably somewhere between 2 to 4. So that brings us around beginning of September, maybe. Anyways, this one continues to contract, and anytime that we have seen, a contraction phase on the monthly MACD, it has correlated pretty well with end of cycle timing sort of things. Now, it's not fully coming down in this instance to open up this month, but it is losing its curvature to the upside, which is not the best sign as of right now. That's definitely a sign of at least slowdown, which, is quite obvious. I mean, it is slowing down a bit. Anyways, let's also go over and reference the monthly HPDR. This one got a new open for the bi-monthly, and what do you know? The 38.2 level is where? Just above 90,000 bucks. So again, showing the $90,000 region as highly important for BU laws to remain above. Below there, yes, you do have 85 or 86, but just be careful, because that's where things start to switch around, and where this really starts to turn into a major top, at least in my opinion. Monthly time frame as well continues to remain above the 38.2 level, and to be fair, a move towards the median is more likely from this perspective, especially as volatility continues to contract here. That would be implying that, a test towards a median is more likely than not. And that is actually at around 110,000 US dollars. So that shifted up decently from last month to this month, which I think does deserve some recognition as well. So if you are bullish for May, is it possible for Bitcoin to even make new all-time highs? Yeah, for sure. Possible. I don't know about probable, but it is certainly possible. And it should also be known that, the top side of the 38.2 level is coming in just under 180,000 bucks. I still think that that's a really far shot away, but hey, that's just my opinion right now. Anyways, I think we've gone over all of the data that I wanted to go over in this video. Again, we went over when, if I was looking to buy Bitcoin, when would that be? Early on within the month. Where would that be? Low 90s, and really no lower than 90,000 bucks, especially on a higher term time frame closing basis. And how high could this month potentially go? I mean, I guess around the median, around 110. I do think somewhere between 100 to 103 is a little more reasonable, just personally. But hey, we shall see, and we shall see once again if the age old adage of sell in May and go away, or sell in May and be gay, is going to be true this time. In this case, I'd say it's about as good as a coin flip, to be fair. But if it is going to be a trap, it is going to be a very, very nasty trap. And I want to actually have one last message here for the quantum wave bands. I completely forgot to bring this up as well. We've gotten so many fucking emails in the last day, which is great. I'm really, really happy that people are enjoying it, that people are using it. That's awesome. But we've got so much fucking emails in the last day of people stressing out that they're going to miss the lower price period. So we're going to extend that for another couple days, basically until the end of Friday. So when I wake up on Saturday morning, I will indeed do the price raise, but we'll give another, couple days for the stragglers to lock in those lower prices. Again, the price right now for the monthly subscription is 70 bucks a month. That'll be going up to 90. And then of course, the price for the lifetime is 1,500. That'll be going up to 2,000. And by the way, even if you use the free trial, which you can use with the code trial in all capitals for any new user for the quantum wave bands, even if you use the free trial before Saturday, you can actually lock yourself into that $70 price point. So there's really no risk with that. You can cancel it if you don't like it. You can cancel it if you just don't want to pay. Of course, you'll lose access at some point, but yes, it is there for you to try. We'll keep that open. We'll also keep it open, of course, for Caretaker's full indicator suite, which is getting really fucking popular right now. And then, of course, the price action pivots, which is a new kid on the block, which I'm actually enjoying quite a fair bit. And let's actually see where the current price action pivot is. Where does she come in around? Actually showing a potential, if Bitcoin can close above 95,250 on a 4-hour time frame, price action pivots say that that's as good as a breakout. Interesting. I wonder what a 12-hour says. Let's see. 12-hour showing a bullish buys as long as it's above the Monday low, which is basically $93,000. I would agree with that as well. But goddamn, things really are turning around here. Like, it becomes very difficult in a position like this. Very reminiscent, by the way, of this from, what was it? Yeah, this was 2019. Remember the summer rally where Bitcoin had that first initial big move to the upside from the lows of early year, and then spent about a month and a half of just really grinding up against this region for a long time. And when you do see things, maintain their stance at a major level, whether it be to the upside or the downside, it becomes more and more likely to actually break that over time. Now, have we spent enough time in that vicinity on this particular iteration? I wouldn't say just yet, but give it another week, and yeah, that'd be a long fucking time in my opinion. Anyways, yes, okay, so we've gone over everything. Also went over the quantum wave bands over here. Did it close that trade? It did not close the trade that it opened yesterday at 94. Hasn't closed this trade yet, although this one is in profit by over $1,000 right now. Did have a decent trade over here as well. Again, for the newer people who are just jumping into this, quantum wave bands it's a good strategy. I'm very, very happy with it, but it's not a perfect strategy. No strategy is perfect. It will take losses. It has about just over 67% strike rate, and actually has struggled at the beginning of this year, as you can see. Although over a long period of time, it maintains that nice upwards and to the right equity curve. And of course, if you're more advanced and you're looking for a lot more customization tools and whatnot to automate, then perhaps the quantum wave bands isn't the best fit for you. The quant program, however, should be a pretty damn good fit. But again, have to be a little bit more advanced. That's, you get a lot more tools, you get a lot more ways to kind of customize things out. But if you don't already have a decent amount of experience, it's probably going to be quite difficult to jump into. Anyways, all right, that's where we shall end things for today. A little bit longer than what I expected as far as videos go. Apologies about that, as always, but I do want to be wishing you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.